The person who keeps appearing in your mind truly cares about you, but the real reason behind the space between you may surprise you. Take a slow, deep breath before you continue, because this message is not light or surface level. It is not shallow. It goes into the quiet space between two people who feel deeply but rarely speak about it. When someone stays in your thoughts constantly, not once in a while, not by chance but all the time, there is a reason that goes far beyond coincidence. And if there is some kind of distance between you, whether emotional, physical, or silent, then pay close attention, because that distance is not what it appears to be. The first truth you need to understand is this: the person in your thoughts does love you, not in a dramatic movie-like way, not through loud words or constant messages, but in a quiet, intense way that can be hard to carry. This is not someone who forgot you or moved on easily. This is someone who carries parts of you with them wherever they go. They remember small details about you, your voice, your expressions, the way you made them feel safe or open. They hold on to these memories because they matter deeply to them. So why the distance? Because love does not always pull people closer. Sometimes love causes people to step back, pause, and reflect before they can fully move forward. Love, especially deep love, can awaken fear instead of confidence. When someone truly loves you, something unpredictable stirs inside them. They begin to notice what they lack, what they could lose, and what they may not be ready to give. You do not just touch their heart. You touch their vulnerabilities, their unhealed parts, and their old fears. That intensity can feel overwhelming. Love has a way of exposing insecurities, and sometimes those insecurities push a person to withdraw even when their feelings are real and strong. It is important to understand that distance does not mean lack of interest. It does not mean the love has disappeared or that you are not important. Often, the silence or space reflects an inner struggle. They are trying to process emotions that are bigger than words, bigger than comfort, bigger than any simple explanation. They may want to be close to you, to talk openly, to share how they feel, but fear and uncertainty hold them back. Their thoughts run in circles. Am I enough? Will I disappoint them? What if my love is not enough? What if I hurt them? These questions weigh heavily on someone who truly cares. Stepping back becomes their way of managing that weight. Sometimes love feels heavy. The more someone cares, the more responsibility they feel to protect both you and themselves. They want to give everything, but they fear that giving too much could lead to pain, rejection, or failure. So distance becomes a form of protection. They do not want to lose you, but they are afraid of failing to love you in the way you deserve. It is not easy for them to admit this. It is not easy to communicate it, and often not easy for them to fully understand it themselves. They are walking a thin line between desire and fear, between closeness and withdrawal. The space they create is sometimes the only way they know how to cope. Every action, even the absence of action, has meaning. When someone pulls back, it is not because their heart is empty. It is because their heart is full, sometimes too full, and they need space to understand it. Their love remains steady, even if it is not always visible. They think of you during quiet moments, remember small gestures, replay conversations in their mind, and imagine what your presence means to them. That is love. Even though it may look like distance from the outside, the intensity of what they feel often cannot be expressed through simple words or constant contact. Their love lives in the silences, in the pauses, in the unseen threads that connect their thoughts to yours. Understanding this requires patience. It requires seeing love not only in actions, but also in restraint, in absence, in the quiet that surrounds someone who feels deeply. This kind of love is complex and layered. It is not simple or straight. It challenges both hearts involved because it is not always easy to navigate or understand. It asks for empathy, compassion, and the ability to see beyond what is visible. You may feel confused or hurt by the distance, but in truth, the person in your mind is often closer than you think. Their love is present even when it is silent. The distance between you is not a reflection of your worth or their feelings. It reflects the complexity of human emotion and the struggle of loving someone deeply while facing inner fears. If you can recognize this, if you can sense the depth behind the silence, you begin to understand the true nature of love. Love is not always loud. Love is not always obvious. Sometimes love exists in quiet longing, in unspoken care, in the space that separates two hearts while still keeping them connected. So the next time you feel the distance, breathe. Know that the person in your mind loves you in ways that may be invisible but are deeply real. The distance is not absence, it is presence held in a fragile human form. They are dealing with their own fears, insecurities, and inner battles. But through it all, the love they feel for you remains. It is not simple, it is not easy, it is not loud, but it is there, steady, quietly strong, and deeply devoted. Not because you did something wrong, but because you did something right. You made them feel something deep, something unexpected, something they were not prepared to experience or understand. The distance you notice is not rejection, it is self-protection, a shield they wrap around themselves. This may surprise you, but listen closely. The distance exists not because they care less, but because they care too much. They know that if they come closer, they might fall too deeply, too quickly. They might open themselves to emotions that feel too heavy, too raw. They might become vulnerable in ways they are not ready for. Vulnerability feels dangerous to them. They fear losing control over their emotions and over themselves. So instead of taking that risk, they choose silence. They step back not to hurt you, but because they are afraid of hurting themselves or disappointing you. Their distance becomes a form of armor, a wall they build for protection. Because in their eyes, you deserve someone stronger, more stable, more complete. One of the most painful truths is that when they look at you, they truly believe they are not enough. They see your depth, your emotional awareness, your openness, your ability to love freely. And instead of rising to meet that, they shrink. They tell themselves again and again, you would be happier without me. I will only let you down. I am not ready. I am not whole. I am not healed enough. Distance then becomes a complicated and twisted form of love, a love that hurts both them and you. They are fighting an internal battle you cannot see while you wonder why they are not reaching out. Inside their mind there is chaos. Thoughts spin endlessly. Should I message them? Should I stay quiet? If I return, what if I ruin what we have? What if I fail to meet their needs or disappoint them in ways I cannot foresee? Their silence is not peaceful, it is loud inside. They replay moments with you repeatedly. They imagine conversations that never happen. They create scenarios that may never exist. Every word you said, every look, every smile, every touch is replayed and examined. They are stuck in a cycle of doubt and fear. Even when they try to calm themselves, the worry stays. They constantly question their worth. They compare their flaws to the person they see in you, and they always feel they fall short. You may believe they are indifferent, but the truth is the opposite. Their emotions are intense, overwhelming, and sometimes paralyzing. They are pulled in two directions at the same time, the desire to be close and the fear of failing. The more they want to approach, the more afraid they become. They crave connection yet retreat from it. They long to be near yet choose distance. Every choice to remain distant is a struggle, a sacrifice made in the name of love. Their heart beats loudly behind the walls they build, even if you cannot hear it. They are constantly calculating, adjusting, trying to find a way to exist without causing pain to themselves or to you. Their love is real, but it shows itself through silence. Every pause, every delay, every absence reflects their inner storm. They are fighting battles within themselves that you cannot fix or touch. And even though you may feel abandoned, know that they are not leaving because they do not care. They are retreating because the weight of their emotions feels too heavy to carry. They are trying to find their way through fear, hope, and longing. And through all of that, the love they feel for you remains quiet, strong, and deeply alive. They are trying to protect both of you from the damage that could come if they allowed themselves to fall all the way in. They are afraid of losing themselves inside love, afraid of feeling inadequate, afraid of not being enough for someone as extraordinary as you. And yet, even with the distance, even with the silence, even with the space they have created on purpose, one truth does not change. Their feelings run deep. They care in ways they rarely show. They love in ways they do not know how to express safely. They want to be present, but they are trapped in a quiet battle between love and fear, desire and self-doubt. Their silence is not a lack of feeling. It is love complicated by hesitation, uncertainty, and inner conflict. They are trying to balance emotion with reality, trying to figure out how to exist in your life without hurting you or losing themselves. Their heart speaks in quiet moments, in thoughts they never say out loud, in dreams where the two of you exist without pressure or fear. They hold on in the only way they know how, even if it does not look like love that is obvious or easy to recognize. And one day, when the timing feels right, when they feel grounded enough, when their fear softens, they may return. Not because they forgot you, not because they stopped caring, but because love once felt deeply does not simply disappear. Until that moment, their distance reflects their inner struggle. It mirrors their insecurities, their longing, and their desire to feel safe. It quietly proves the love they carry inside. They miss you in ways they never admit, not even to themselves at times. There is a hard truth many people avoid. Love without healing often creates distance. Love alone is not always enough when someone is still carrying unhealed wounds. If they are holding the weight of past betrayal, the pain of abandonment, fear of commitment, or fear of losing their independence, love can feel threatening instead of comforting. Your closeness represents something unfamiliar and overwhelming. Closeness brings responsibility, and responsibility brings the possibility of pain. So they step back, not because they do not care, but because they care so deeply that it frightens them. Distance becomes a form of protection, even if it causes pain on both sides. They may also not trust themselves with your heart. This truth is rarely spoken, yet it is real. They doubt their own consistency, their emotional steadiness, their ability to stay present when it matters most. They see how deeply you feel. They sense how genuine and committed you are. That awareness scares them because they fear stepping into something they might not be strong enough to protect. Distance feels safer than the risk of breaking your heart. Pulling away feels easier than facing the responsibility of loving someone who truly matters. Now let us turn toward you. Why does your mind keep returning to them? Why is it so hard to stop thinking about them? Because emotional connections do not end simply because communication stops. Your soul sensed something unfinished, feelings that were never fully expressed, truths that were never completely spoken, a bond that was never allowed to unfold naturally. Your mind returns to them because something remains unresolved, something paused, something left incomplete. Distance without closure creates loops in the mind, spinning endlessly through memories, questions, and imagined outcomes. You think about what could have been. You replay moments you shared. You revisit words that were never said and try to understand the silence. This is not just nostalgia. It is the unfinished work of the heart. You are processing echoes of a connection that was never fully lived. Every unanswered message, every withdrawn moment, every hesitation becomes a thread pulling you back. Even when you try to move forward, your mind seeks completion. This does not mean there is something wrong with you. It is a sign of the depth of the bond. Emotional loops form because love, when interrupted, leaves an imprint that stays. It quietly reminds you of what was and what might still be. You may feel restless, confused, or even frustrated with yourself for thinking about them so often. Yet this is natural. Your heart and mind are trying to make sense of something your soul knows was real, even if circumstances prevented it from fully becoming what it could have been. Distance does not erase love. It delays the resolution of its energy. Understanding this can bring a gentle sense of relief. The fact that your mind keeps returning does not mean weakness, obsession, or failure. It means what you shared mattered. It means the connection, even in absence, still lives quietly within you. True emotional bonds are not defined only by presence or absence. They are shaped by the unseen, the unspoken, and the energy that exists between two people who truly felt one another. Distance does not erase love. It simply pauses its movement. Understanding this can bring calm because your returning thoughts are not a flaw. They are proof that something meaningful existed. That connection, even without contact, continues in subtle ways, influencing your thoughts, your dreams, and your emotions. Emotional bonds are not limited to messages, calls, or physical closeness. Real connection is measured by the marks it leaves inside you, by how it reshapes your heart even when it seems invisible. Every pause, every silence, Every space created has a purpose, even when that purpose is unclear. Sometimes distance becomes a teacher. It guides you toward patience, resilience, and deeper awareness of yourself. It forces you to feel fully. It invites you to observe your own heart, recognize your emotional patterns, and understand what you truly value. Your mind circles back not because you are stuck, but because your soul understands that love is not linear. Timing, healing, and readiness matter more than simple desire. The bond between you and them is living energy. Energy does not disappear. It waits quietly, asking for understanding, acceptance, and sometimes forgiveness. Forgiveness of them, forgiveness of yourself, and forgiveness of the situation. In this waiting, you are learning something important. Love does not need completion to have meaning. It leaves traces that guide you forward. It shapes how you love, how you choose, and how you grow. It teaches patience and emotional maturity. Even when you feel unsettled or tired of thinking about them, every returning thought is part of your growth. Your heart is processing. Your mind is adjusting. Your soul is remembering. It is learning the difference between fear-driven distance and genuine care. It is understanding that silence can be a language and distance can be love expressed through withdrawal. You may not hear it or see it, but it exists quietly and persistently. They think about you more often than you realize. Late at night, when everything is still, or when something small reminds them of you, a song, a scent, a passing memory, they pause and wonder if you are okay. They question whether you still remember them. They ask themselves what might have happened if they had been braver, spoken more honestly, stayed a little longer. Yet they do not reach out. Love mixed with fear creates paralysis. The desire is strong, but the fear is stronger. They replay moments again and again, imagining conversations that never happened, wishing they had chosen differently, but fear keeps them silent. The most surprising truth about distance is this: the distance exists because this connection has the power to change them deeply. Change, even when it is good, can be terrifying. You challenge their habits, their patterns, and the comfort of who they used to be. You reflect parts of themselves they were not ready to face. You invite growth they did not plan for, growth that asks them to confront fear, insecurity, and unresolved pain. So instead of moving forward, they retreat. Distance becomes a pause, a space where transformation is delayed. It is not the absence of feeling, it is a waiting period, a time where they question who they are becoming and whether they can step into the love you offer without fear of failing. And one day, if healing happens, if courage grows, if timing aligns, the energy that paused may begin to move again. Until then, your understanding, your patience with yourself, and your ability to feel without forcing outcomes will be the greatest lessons you carry. Every unanswered question, every memory replayed, every imagined conversation is not a sign of loss. It is proof of depth. Love, even when quiet, is never truly gone. This is why trying to force closure almost never works. When you demand answers, push for explanations, or insist on clarity before someone is ready, they often withdraw even more. This does not happen because you are wrong, unreasonable, or asking for too much. It happens because pressure activates fear inside them. Some truths only come out when the heart feels safe, when the mind becomes calm, and when layers of anxiety, confusion, and self-doubt slowly soften. This kind of understanding cannot be rushed. You cannot force healing. You cannot control when someone becomes self-aware or emotionally ready. Clarity grows naturally in spaces filled with patience, compassion, and emotional breathing room. When there is understanding instead of force, answers appear in their own time. So what does all of this mean for you? This part matters more than anything else. You are not unlovable. You are not too intense, too sensitive, too emotional, too demanding, or too aware. You did not imagine the bond you felt. The connection was real. It existed in meaningful ways. You met someone who cared about you deeply, but who was not yet able to meet you at the same emotional depth or level of readiness. That reality does not reduce your worth. It does not mean you did something wrong. It does not mean you failed. It simply means that timing, emotional readiness, and inner healing often shape relationships more than desire, attraction, or intention ever could. You experienced love, real love. Even if that love came mixed with distance, silence, hesitation, or fear, it still holds meaning. You were seen in ways that mattered. You were felt in ways that left an impression, and that connection left marks on both of you, whether spoken or unspoken. Understand this deeply. Distance and silence do not erase what was felt. They do not cancel what existed. They reflect inner struggles, personal fears, and unfinished emotional growth, not your value as a person. One of the most important truths to hold is this: love does not always disappear when it becomes quiet. Sometimes love pauses. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it grows silently until both hearts are able to meet without fear. Until then, the impact of what you shared stays with you. It quietly shapes your heart, your empathy, and your understanding of emotional depth in ways you may not fully recognize yet. Even when you cannot see them, even when silence feels heavy and distance feels endless, their presence lingers in subtle ways. It lives in the lessons you carry, in the patience you are learning, and in the way you now understand yourself and others more deeply. You may notice patterns in future connections that remind you of this bond. You may recognize familiar emotions, familiar longings, or familiar depths. That is not weakness, that is growth. Every unspoken word, every pause, every moment of missing someone has contributed to who you are becoming. You are learning how to be patient with yourself. You are learning self-compassion. You are learning how to hold space for someone else's fears without abandoning your own needs or losing yourself in the process. You are also learning that love is not only about closeness, constant presence, or nonstop communication. Love is also about respect, understanding, and the quiet acknowledgement of another person's struggles, even when that acknowledgement happens in silence. You are beginning to see that some of the deepest expressions of love cannot be measured, touched, or explained right away. Even when someone pulls back, even when they step away, the feelings they had do not simply vanish. Love can exist beneath fear, hesitation, and inner conflict. It can be hidden, buried, or delayed, but that does not make it false. And none of this is a reflection of your worth. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not asking for the wrong things. You are human. You are capable of deep connection, and you are worthy of someone who can meet you fully, openly, and consistently. The distance, the silence, and the pauses are not rejections of you. They are pieces of a larger story involving growth, healing, and timing. Every emotion you feel, every memory that resurfaces, every thought that brings them back into your mind is proof that the connection mattered. It shaped you. It taught you. It reminded you of your own ability to love deeply and sincerely. One day, whether it is with this person or with someone else entirely, the lessons you are learning now will show up in healthier, more balanced, and more conscious relationships. Until that day comes, honor what you feel. Give yourself permission to reflect, to feel, and to grow without judgment. Hold space for the love that existed even when it was quiet. Respect the process, the timing, and the journey of both your heart and theirs. Know this clearly: distance does not destroy love. Sometimes it reshapes it. Sometimes it transforms it into something wiser, stronger, and more enduring than before. Your heart is learning, your soul is remembering, and this connection, even if paused, is not truly lost. It lives within you, guiding how you understand love, patience, and emotional depth in ways that time will slowly reveal. This is not your failure. Love does not always mean staying together. Sometimes love means creating space so growth can happen. Sometimes it means choosing silence so reflection can take place. Sometimes it means stepping back so healing can begin. Not every love story is meant to continue the way it started. Some relationships enter your life to wake you up, to teach you about yourself, and to help you grow emotionally, rather than to remain forever. If they ever return, it will not feel the same as before. If they come back one day, it will not be uncertain or incomplete. It will be because fear no longer controls them. It will be because healing has happened. It will be because they have found the courage to face love honestly and fully. Until that time, the distance serves a purpose, even when it feels painful, confusing, or unfair. It is not a punishment, it is part of the journey. It is a pause that allows both hearts to mature, reflect, and prepare for what real love requires. Now hear this clearly and gently. Stop blaming yourself for wounds that are not yours to heal. Stop shrinking your needs, your emotions, and your truth to make someone else feel comfortable. Stop waiting in emotional suspension, hoping someone will arrive before they are ready. If someone truly loves you, they will meet you fully, not halfway, not in pieces, but with presence, intention, and emotional availability. And if they cannot do that, the distance you feel is not rejection. It is redirection. It is guiding you towards someone who can match your depth, your stability, and your capacity for love. Always remember this: someone can care deeply for you, even intensely, and still not be ready to stay. That truth is painful, but it is not meant to break you. It is meant to guide you toward a kind of love that does not depend on distance to survive. A love that nurtures, grows, and remains steady even during challenges. Your heart deserves that kind of love. A love that meets you fully and consistently. Nothing you experienced was wasted. The lessons, the reflections, the waiting, and even the silences all serve a purpose. They are leading you toward a relationship that honors your ability to love without fear and without self-betrayal. Love may be quiet, it may be distant, but it is never meaningless. Every step of this journey is moving you closer to a love that truly lasts, a love built on readiness, presence, and emotional truth.